MTV came back to us and very politely said, "We will never air this. You are banned from MTV because we feel that you are making fun of the mentally impaired." We were like, what? Hi everyone, my name is Scott Ian and I am here today to let you know what the 5 essential Anthrax songs are. This is something I have spent the last 43 years compiling, researching, and it's brought me here to the Eventum Apollo tonight, and I finally have the answer after much pondering. So here we go. I guess I'll start with the first essential Anthrax song. I'm gonna go with Death Rider off of Fistful of Metal because that's, as Robin Zander says on Cheap Trick Live at Budokan, that's the first song off our new album, or our first album. So that's the first thing probably most people heard from us. They put the needle on the record back then and they heard that and then and that's the riff that kind of kicked it all off for us as a band. So I would have to go with that as being an essential Anthrax song, just because it really is. You know, a lot of people might have gotten 15, 20 seconds in and been like, oh, fuck this shit. But most people didn't do that. So it's a good thing that song opened the record and opened the door for us to be a band. For the second essential Anthrax record, and I'm not doing this specifically chronologically, it just so happens that the next one is from our second album, Spreading the Disease, and that would be Madhouse. And I think reason being is that record came out in 1986. We shot a video, that was our first music video for that song, and we shot it in an insane asylum. An insane asylum in Staten Island, New York. Hadn't been used in decades, but they would film stuff there. So, and we had a whole bunch of our friends dressed up like patients that would have been living in that hospital. And they just, you know, it's a big mosh pit, a big circle pit the whole time, like we're playing, but they're all dressed like patients of an insane asylum. And then it was submitted to MTV, which was gonna be a bit of a long shot anyway in 1986 for a band named Anthrax and playing the music we played. But MTV came back to us and very politely said, "We will never air this. You are banned from MTV because we feel that you are making fun of the mentally impaired." We were like, what? Like, it's what? Like, we're not making, anyway, that, you know, we're not going to get into that whole argument, but we wore it as a badge of honor because we were kind of like, well, fuck MTV anyway. Who needs this lame ass, you know, shit? This was before Headbangers Ball became a thing in the 80s. Yeah, we were very excited about the fact we were banned from MTV. I think the label actually put out a press release saying we were officially banned from MTV, and of course that gets people excited. And yeah, and Madhouse was it was our first hit, let's say. It became a really big song for us, a bit of an anthem, I guess, you know, and, you know, really, I think just really caught on in a big way and again, opened the door a little bit farther for us to be able to step through. Our next album was Among the Living, and that's the record that made such a mark, it made such a scar on the world of music that it's enabled us to have a career going on 44 years now going on. Among the Living came out in 87, and, you know, here we are still playing 5-6 songs off that record live most nights. And, you know, it really is the one. It opened all the doors for us. And so it really is hard to pick one off that record. Indians may be the bigger song. I think if you looked on Spotify and Apple Music to see what your most played, maybe Indians is bigger, but I think the one off Among the Living, and certainly maybe the most essential Anthrax song, this would be my number one actually, of the 5, would be Caught in a Mosh. I think this song kind of defines us musically. It certainly did back then, and I don't think this song has been out of the set since we started playing it in 1987. I don't think we've played an Anthrax set in 37 years, whatever it is, that hasn't had Caught in a Mosh in it. I can't say that about any other song. I think it's just synonymous with us. It captures everything about this band musically, metal, thrash metal, punk, hardcore, the fun of the band, the intensity, the aggression. It's all in there. It's really got it all. And it's obviously a crowd pleaser. The audience seems to like it. Number 4, I'm gonna go with it's actually half a cover song, and that's Bring the Noise, which we did together with Public Enemy back in 1990 on the we recorded it in the Persistence of Time sessions, but it came out on Attack of the Killer Bees in 91. For me, that was, it was something that it took, I guess, the original Bring the Noise, the Public Enemy version came out in 88, I think. And, but they were already my favorite. Not just my favorite, there's that word, favorite. At the time, they weren't just my favorite rap band. From like 86 through, at least the next 5 or 6 years, Public Enemy was my favorite band. And Bring the Noise is a song they put on their It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back album. And I remember getting in advance of that record because we had friends at Def Jam. And Bring the Noise comes on and I'm listening to it and I hear the word Anthrax in the lyrics, and I put the needle back and I was like, wait, whoa, what? And then I hear these lyrics, wax is for Anthrax. Like, what? Like they name checked Anthrax on in their song on a Public Enemy record. I couldn't fucking believe it. And I kind of knew Chuck D at the time. We had met through mutual friends, but we weren't friends yet. I didn't have his phone number or anything. And I remember calling my friend at Def Jam saying, please get a message to Chuck for me. I can't believe it. Like this is crazy. And I just had this idea for the next 2 years. How do I make a crossover? How do I make something happen where I'm gonna have Chuck D's voice and my guitar on the same song? Because we already kind of set that stage for ourselves because we had done I'm the Man a few years earlier where, but that was just us doing this kind of goofy Beastie Boys-esque, our best shitty attempted version at being the Beastie Boys, and that came out and we buried it on a B-side of I'm the Law in 1986. And we just figured, well, if people hate it and want to kill us, it's just a B-side. And everybody fucking loved it. And it blew up and it became this huge thing. So we already had like this track record where Anthrax put their toes in the water of rap music. And but this to me would have to be the heaviest fucking thing. It would have to be brutally heavy and serious. And how could I have Chuck D on a record and all this? And then when we were making Persistence of Time, we were just done with the drum tracks on the record. Charlie had finished. And I had this idea, this arrangement in my head, and I had these riffs. And I said, don't break the drums down yet. I've got an idea to cover Bring the Noise, but it'd be our musical version of it. And then we'll get Chuck and Flav to be on it. We knew we had something great. And when Chuck heard it, he loved it. And the rest is history. My 5th one, I'm gonna go with Fight 'Em Till You Can't from the Worship Music album. And the reason being for that is, we hadn't made a record in many years. Worship Music came out in 2011. And previous to that was We've Come For You All in 2003. And so 8 years between records. And, the band kind of, at that period of time between 03 and 11 was, if I'd have to say, that was definitely one of the valleys. Every band goes through peaks and valleys, except for the few lucky ones. And, Joey rejoined the band in 2010. And I could remember hearing his vocals for the first time on Fight 'Em Till You Can't. And, and there was this wonder of, obviously a natural curiosity of what's Joey going to sound like on 2010 Anthrax, he's been out of the band since 1992. What's it going to sound like? I remember being in my car and just like, oh fuck, and the hair was standing up on my arms. And it just sounded so right and just so present and so perfect. And yeah, and I just knew like, oh, things are gonna be okay. I really think people are gonna dig this. And I just fucking love that song. You know, it's metaphorically, it's the underlying meaning of that song is basically, it's the story of Anthrax. Fight them till you can't. But it's also about zombies.